And welcome back to another edition of Completely Unoriginal here at DakotaBroadcasting.com, your source for everything nerd. I'm Adam St. Paul, joined by Kurt Campbell and Tony Zur. Took a small break, but we are back at it, and I think we'll be back at it a little more consistently now after the holiday. Guys, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Man, to quote Stained, it's been a while, but we're back, so that's all right.
That's true. Before we begin house cleaning items, Tony, you might want to plug that you got, is it a paying gig coming up here?
Yeah, I got a gig at the Brass Kettle. Gosh, I want to say it's the 21st. I don't know it off the top of my head right now, but the Brass Kettle in Aberdeen has a comedy night coming up.
Hey,
somewhere between like the 21st and the 24th. So
awesome.
Yeah, that should be pretty good.
Well, congratulations. We're excited for you.
Thanks.
And with that, have you been? I think you've been kind of like us, slacking on getting some podcasts done. Have you been? Keeping tabs on the YouTube site or what?
Well, yeah, I need to release like 4 completely unoriginals on the YouTube channel that I've just been lazy about and everything, and then we're getting ready to move out of our house here at the end of the summer, so I need to do I need to do a little like session where I sit down and just review like 4 or 5 different things that I've wanted to review, and then I'm going to have like a little packing up session where I'm going to pack up all my toys on camera. It'll be fun.
Make sure to play like the sad Incredible Hulk leaving town music while you pack things up.
So, yeah, we got a great show for you lined up today. There's not a ton of new movie stuff, I think, to talk about. I know I had a kind of a comic book issue that I wanted to bring up to you guys, and with that also, I think we were going to talk some summer blockbusters, because they really haven't gone over as as good as the studios probably would want them. Let's start off, though, in comic book land. Tony, you had sent me the link yesterday, and I actually had heard about it before you sent me that, and Marvel has made the announcement that, and I haven't done the full research on it, so I'm not sure if it's in their what universe they're doing it in, whether it's their Ultimate Universe or if they're doing it in the main continuity. But Tony Stark is being replaced as Iron Man in favor of a black woman, and a black girl. So
she's like 15 or 16 years old.
So going for like a Miss Marvel kind of thing with the Khan character, who's a 15-year-old girl, Iranian Muslim gal, if I'm not mistaken, in that comic book. But I guess I'm going to throw out my opinion on it, and then let you guys go from there. And again, it's like when in Kurt, we were discussing this a little bit, and I was trying to think of the other example that I couldn't quite think of. The other one was turning James Bond into a woman.
Yeah.
My whole point is, and I'm all about diversity, and I can read a comic book that is female-centric. If you've ever read Y: The Last Man, there's plenty of female characters. There's only one male character in almost the entire book, so there you go. And I like Saga, which is a female-driven one. There's all sorts of them, but I don't see why this is necessary.
I see why they're doing it. It's a bit of, I have a cynical take on it.
Well, that's what I was going to get to too, is that it's cynical, and I guess my whole point is, and maybe it's not as simple as this, but why take a black female or white female, whatever it may be, a minority, and throw them into an already established superhero, kind of like a hand-me-down, this will be fine, rather than create their own brand new strong character that people would, cling to. And this goes back to when they replaced Thor with a woman as well.
Yeah, if you want my 2 cents, I mean, the internet's been a buzz about it, and some guys have come out and said that, why not make her Iron Maiden, which would be sweet. I mean, that would be really
sweet.
Cool. And that way you can keep Iron Man in there as well. I mean, the story that I read about the whole thing is, she's super smart, and she, pretty much built her own Iron Man suit in like her dorm room or something like that, and Tony Stark heard about it, and so on and so forth. So I mean, that's a really cool take on it and everything. But like you guys said, I don't think we need to get rid of Iron Man. I think that the whole internet thing with Iron Maiden would be really, really cool.
I would love them to like make her Iron Maiden, but her superpowers would be that she's Eddie from Iron Maiden, and she because she's a skeleton, you can't kill her. She's super strong,
and she's got long hair and sings in a really high voice.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I've got a couple of thoughts. One being, it would be really cool if they started her as Tony Stark taking a break, and no one knows that it's not Tony in the iron suit.
That's cool.
Which would be a great idea, I think. And then
there's a mystery around it.
Yeah, and then spin her off into her own character once it's discovered. Would be a great idea.
Wouldn't it be cool to see Iron Man, War Machine, and the Iron Maiden all together? Like, that'd be sweet.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. But honestly, I don't know if it's cynical or not, but here's the thing. Comic books are almost always, not always, but almost always purchased by white dudes. They want to get women collecting, and they want to get minorities collecting too. And this is a good way to kind of say, hey, look, we're being more inclusive by using something you already know and including you in it. So maybe that's not a cynical way to look at it. I don't know what they're going to do. I haven't seen it, but I think it should be the mystery. Nobody knows that it's not Tony, and then spin her off into her own character after it's discovered and start her in a whole new series with the suit and a different name, maybe. I think that is a great marketing idea.
Well, and I am a firm believer in, the fact that they don't need to dredge up old stuff and reboot old characters and stuff like that. I mean, in the movies, they want to stick with the comic books as much as possible, but I just think that the movies have an opportunity to introduce brand new superheroes that we've never ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying about there's the whole discussion as to what's going to happen when Hugh Jackman hangs up his claws. And my take on that is, either you can go along with the whole Moira McTaggart creating the substance that de-ages Magneto in the comic books. That happened. Like he had her make this stuff, but then it backfired on him, and he got all mad and stuff. You could do that, or you could make a brand new mutant in the X-Men universe that can de-age people, and then they de-age Wolverine, and then hey, we have we can get a kid to play Wolverine and have him grow up on camera a little bit.
Gosh, Logan, you look 25 years younger.
Well, it's the only way that we're going to be able to keep having Wolverine in the
Well,
movie.
they're gonna, but
they'll replace.
They'll
him.
just recast him. I think
they will. They'll do a James Bond thing. It hasn't stopped that series.
Yeah, the Wolverine is just far too popular to keep out of the X-Men cinematic universe. But back over to this whole thing, I just see it as pandering, I guess, personally. Kurt, I think you are right that we need to get more people other than white men collecting comic books. How are we going to do that? So we become more inclusive and things like that. But they've all, I mean, for instance, look at Miss Marvel. Mm-hmm. She's always Miss Marvel. She's always been a woman. And when Mala Khan took over as the character, it was one of the most popular comic books of 2015, and it was a great run. And I mean, you can do, and that's not even necessarily an original character, but it's at least an original female character. I just think that it's just pandering to throw, all right, well, who's our least popular superhero right now? Thor? It's Thor. All right, let's make her a woman. Let's give her that mantle there. And the same goes for, James Bond? Yeah, let's try to make her a woman this time to do something different and whatnot, instead of creating our own super spy that could, be even a 000 agent. But no, we got to call her James Bond. Even though I don't know if they're going to do that or not, I just don't like the idea.
Okay.
Oh, well, and they want to, and they're really looking at Emily Blunt to be Snake Plissken. So
I think I'm okay with that.
I'm not.
I think I'm okay with that.
I am not okay with that whatsoever. I think they need to do the same thing that they did with that they're going to do with Wolverine, and do Kurt Russell still able to kick some ass. Let's do an Old Man Snake movie, one last escape movie for Kurt Russell.
I don't know. Escape from L.A. was so bad.
It was not.
It is not good at all.
That was a great movie. It was just it was released. If they would have released that movie about 10 years later, it would have have been a lot better. Like, if, they would have had a little bit better, technology to work with and stuff.
I don't know. As a Carpenter and Russell fan, I got to disagree with you. It breaks my heart to not like it, but I wasn't pleased with it.
Oh, I'd like to see Carpenter come. He hadn't directed a movie in quite some time.
No, he's been concentrating on his music a lot.
I'd like to see him come back and maybe direct another remake.
Have him pull a
something.
George Miller and show the kids how it's done.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
He's produced a lot in his later years, though.
Yeah, and he's made so many iconic films. He probably gets a pretty decent paycheck every month from everything he's put out so far.
Everything that keeps getting remade.
And it gets remade.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing, guys, that we wanted to talk about was blockbuster movies this summer, because for one reason or another, they haven't really done very well. And, off the top of your head, you can think of Alice Through the Looking Glass. I think that was like a $200 million budgeted film and just flopped big time after the predecessor inexplicably made over $1 billion worldwide, which is just weird for an Alice in Wonderland film. And after that, also Duncan Jones's Warcraft film did not go over well with critics.
Nope.
You know what? I got a feeling, and I haven't seen it yet, but I got a feeling that one might be more appreciated as time goes on, because I want to believe that Duncan Jones it's not like he's incapable of doing no wrong. It's just that I found a really that series on YouTube called Good Bad Flicks, and he explores movies that were considered bad at the time and kind of goes back and looks at them again. And that series, and also Retrospective Review is another one, rekindled my love for the movie Alien 3. Which I dismissed right away as awful garbage, and I went back and rewatched it again, and it's actually especially after about all the turmoil that went on backstage, the fact that they were filming without a finished script, they had to basically churn out something with sets that were already built. David Fincher, a first-time director, basically was hijacked by the studio.
Yeah, they said, you're going to do what we tell you to do. It's like, okay.
The rod puppetry and stuff is like the alien when it's computer CGI'd is terrible, but for the time being. But anyway, so it could come back to do well. But other than that, I guess what are our thoughts?
Anybody really think that Warcraft and Alice in Wonderland was going to be good?
Well, I knew Alice in Wonderland.
Well, you were the one that was
good.
excited for Alice in Wonderland, at least for your wife's sake.
Yeah, exactly. I was excited for my wife's sake, so she has another movie.
And I was excited for Warcraft. I like Duncan Jones. He's a cool dude. He's made some good movies, and this movie should have been better than what it apparently is. Although, again, I haven't seen it.
It's Hollywood meets video game. When has that worked?
It rarely works.
It does not work well for one reason or another. That's for
Although
sure.
I am looking forward to the Assassin's Creed movie. That looks pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Warcraft movie, man, the trailer, the dude that they have as the lead character, human or whatever, the human-looking character, he sounds like Christopher Lambert, and it's just terrible.
That could be a problem. I didn't notice that at all, but
Christopher Lambert is just an awful actor.
He is. Yeah, there's no question.
And when I heard that, that dude's voice in the trailer and stuff like that, I was just like, oh my gosh.
There can be only one.
Yeah.
It's from a million countries. That's why. Poor guy. He can't help it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't expect Warcraft or Alice to do very well. I was really surprised that Tarzan. I was kind of waiting for that to be something really, really awesome.
Oh, bad reviews though. Ooh.
Yeah, I guess
20% fresh last time I looked.
But it's Tarzan. Who cares?
I didn't care either. That's to be fair. Yeah, I did not care a bit. I didn't care about the Jungle Book either, but apparently that was monstrous.
Yeah, but that's Disney though, and Disney tends to know what they're doing.
I guess.
They take a bad.
Favreau, and Favreau's made some good stuff.
Alice in Wonderland was obviously a flop, but they were trying to rekindle whatever it was that made $1 billion back in 2010 or something like that. It was
Burton, and Burton wasn't directing this, so it was essentially a cheap imitation of Tim Burton. And a cheap imitation of apparently bad Tim Burton at that. So
now Tim Burton's was a cheap imitation of a good story. So
so just going off a list since May, Captain America: Civil War was a 90%, and I enjoyed that movie. There's no doubt. I don't think Tony enjoyed it as much as me, but I thought it was good. Angry Birds the movie, which was probably supposed to be a big release, 43% on Rotten Tomatoes.
My son liked it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
All right. Alice Through the Looking Glass, 29%. X-Men Apocalypse, 48%. That one was kind of a surprise. For some reason, it didn't do. I know Tony was really excited for it, but for me, it didn't do a lot for me. Before seeing it. So.
Yeah, it did well, but not. It wasn't usual X-Men numbers. At
it
the
could
box
be
office.
That could be superhero fatigue right there.
I think it is.
Sure.
It could be.
Well, and I just honestly, I honestly thought that, after, like I said, it took me 2 times to watch it. The second time I appreciated it a little bit more. I honestly, X-Men movies have always just they've kind of been one step below, like, the MCU.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Besides, like, the very first X-Men movie and stuff like that, maybe the first 2 X-Men movies, but ever since, like, X-Men 3, they've always just been kind of, it's like an Alien movie. Not everybody's going to go and see it,
Yeah.
It's an acquired taste, the X-Men, and not a lot of people have jumped on board just because there have been, it's kind of half and half, good movies and shitty movies. So
yeah.
Well, just don't. You take out Brett Ratner, and that average goes way up.
That's true. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows. I did see that one. It's got a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's better than the first one. I could say.
I loved it.
I could say that. I mean,
I loved it.
I enjoyed it. It's certainly not perfect, but it's the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie that was willing to explore kind of the weirdness that is the Turtles universe with aliens and mutants and things like that. So
it's I've noticed something weird, that there are some movies, there are very few, but for instance Turtles and also the new Purge movie, the further along they go in sequels, the better reviewed they are. Have you noticed that? The first Purge was kind of the second Purge did a little better critically, and the new Purge election year is doing better critically. And same with the Turtles.
If you want to have a good movie, don't put Ethan Hawke in it.
Come on, Gattaca? Come on now. You didn't like Gattaca?
I am not saying that I don't like Ethan Hawke, but name the last Ethan Hawke movie that was amazing.
Training Day?
I would even call that amazing.
Well, he was really good in it, and Denzel was amazing.
The only thing that sold Training Day was the fact that Denzel Washington played like an evil SOB.
He was great, too.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
That's what sold that movie, was Denzel Washington and his amazing acting.
I hated Ethan Hawke in the movie Daybreakers. Sam Neill was in it, too, had vampires and Willem Dafoe. It was dumb. So I'm not a
huge Ethan Hawke fan, like, whatsoever.
He's hit or miss. He used to be a lot better.
So, but I mean, when it comes to The Purge, I guess the first one was a throwaway, stupid. It was a Michael Bay film, if I'm not mistaken. It was a throwaway. Not he didn't direct it, but he had a hand in it. I know he did. Whether writing, you got a credit for that, or you got a credit for producing.
You got Lena Headey in it, and she's in a lot of good stuff. Cersei Lannister.
It's so stupid. I can't get behind that.
It's a really cynical and horrible idea.
Exactly, and I believe human nature is better than that, and I'm not about to entertain.
Yeah, you don't like the concept.
Stupid
I get
notion.
I get it. No, I totally get it.
I actually have a friend that was in the first Purge. Her name was Alicia Bailey, and she's actually a Hollywood stunt woman. She does all of the Kate Beckinsale stunt work, and she does a lot of that stuff.
I don't do Kate Beckinsale's stunt work. Sorry, was I thinking out loud?
So I kind of have to like the Purge, even though Ethan Hawke is in it and stuff. But yeah, I mean, honestly, those kind of seem like Saw movies to me. They're just going to keep on coming out and keep on coming out, and they're making another Saw movie too.
Yeah, I knew that. But...
Yeah, isn't that kind of a reboot? The new Saw movie? Aren't they like starting over again?
No, the Jigsaw's face is on the freaking cover of it.
Dear Lord.
Oh boy, yeah.
But
anyway,
going back to the Turtles, man, I thought that was, I mean, compared to the first one, I'm glad they dropped Johnny Knoxville for the voice of Leonardo.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really get that in the first one, and then I just thought that it was a really well done story, and it really captured what, like you said to me on the phone that one time, Adam. It captured more of the cartoon essence of what the Turtles were.
Certainly, yeah. So and that's why I enjoyed it more than the first one. It's still not a good movie, but I mean, it's kind of hard in this day and age to get a good Turtles movie, especially being almost 30 years old. But let's see here.
Independence Day 2.
I was gonna get to that, but we're at Warcraft right now, 29%, and it's just, for me, I just saw it as a big CGI fest, and that doesn't do anything for me. Finding Dory, I did see that one, saw it with Stacy, my wife, and it was good.
It's doing well.
Ed O'Neill's in it. He has a voice, and so is Phil Dunphy. What's his name? Ty
Burrell.
Ty Burrell. Also, I think I like Finding Nemo better, but it's definitely, it's up there. 95% on Rotten Tomatoes as well. It also has Katie Olsen or Caitlin Olsen from It's Always Sunny, a voice in that. So exactly.
Sweet D's in it.
Yes, she is.
I love Sweet D.
Let's see here. These are some of the most recent releases, including Free State of Jones, which is Matthew McConaughey, 44%. Independence Day Resurgence. The Shallows, getting a 75%.
The Shallows is actually supposed to be. It's a very good B movie from what I'm hearing.
Swiss Army Man, which I have not seen yet.
I've heard that's pretty good,
but that's not a big release, certainly.
It looks weird, and I'm into that.
Lastly, the BFG, which is getting a 72%, and The Legend of Tarzan getting a 34%.
Oh.
Going back to Independence Day, I don't care at all.
It did not need a sequel.
No,
did not need a sequel.
Not in the slightest.
Well, I was, when the possibility of it coming out was, when it was there and they were like, okay, we're making this now and stuff, I was like, all right, well, we'll see how it goes. Because I was a kid when Independence Day came out.
As was I.
That was one of those blockbuster movies that everybody
That movie reshaped the summer blockbuster.
That movie also gave us Roland Emmerich making awful movies.
Stargate gave us that, actually.
Well, that was
not as big.
Not as big, but I mean the success of Independence Day, and that's why we got 10,000 BC and the Day of the Earth.
Day of the Earth.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The Day After Tomorrow is that's what I couldn't think of.
And 2012 he did as well. Oh, just awful movies, that's for
Godzilla. Sure. He did that too. The Godzilla remake back in the day before.
The one with Matthew Broderick.
With Broderick,
yep, that was Roland Emmerich. Yep. So.
The moment Will Smith was announced that he wasn't going to be in it, I was just kind of like, okay.
He made After Earth, and he turned this down. It's going to be bad.
Well, and that's.
But he turned Independence Day down so he could do Suicide Squad. I think that
better
was
move.
Oh yeah, much better move. But that's my point. Was that was going to be my whole point? Is that you couldn't even get Will Smith to come back and do that, I just don't have any time for you. That's
I've
all
got to get me one of these again. Wink, wink. No thanks. I'd have thrown up in my mouth.
I would hope he would look straight into the camera as he says it too. That's for sure. Guys, we're out of time. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be back next week, same time, right here at Dakota Broadcasting. I'm Adam St. Paul, and for Tony Zur and Kurt Campbell. Until the next time.